Hi, I'm Daniel Ogletree, and I'm going to be attempting to persuade you to stop letting off steam. See, we all let our anger out on a third party when we're upset. And whether we're talking smack to a friend or hitting a punching bag, we think of it as a vent for the steam building up inside of us. In fact, I was inspired by a car across from Tate that students could go in and freely let off steam on. Rage rooms are crafted to utilize your anger to let it out. However, what if I told you that this is not only ethically wrong to participate in, but scientifically inaccurate? Through these two lenses, I want to persuade you to take another look at how you handle your anger, because it's one of the biggest portions of our life. The idea that we can release our anger by venting it is called catharsis theory. But does it actually work? Dr. Ron Mosler doesn't think so. He explains this as a short-lived release that actually serves to reward your brain for building up the pressure. In terms of ourselves, this can make us more easily angered and stressed. As you know, our brains want to build up that pressure again so that we can let it out again and feel that pleasure. This can make us less enjoyable to be around, and it can even make us a danger to other people. Dr. Art Markman states in his Psychology Today article, these violent releases causes a connection in our brains between the emotion, anger, and the behavior, aggression. The more you vent your anger, it's like Pavlov's dogs. The more you do it, the more it connects, and the more you get angry, the more you want to be aggressive. And if you're constantly releasing that steam, as they say, then you will get angry quicker. And the more you do that, the more you repeat that, the more violent you may become, and the more often you will be violent. The more you vent your anger through violent or aggressive acts, even aggressive verbal communication, the more you want to every time you get angry. In terms of verbal communication, a study by Jennifer Palarmis, Keith Allred, and Karen Block found that venting to a third party caused greater post-venting anger than not venting, or even venting to the offender themselves. I believe the last part is the most crucial. See, the act of confronting an offender or venting to an offender is likely the last thing on most people's minds, myself included. Despite feeling good in the short run, aggression breeds further aggression. It causes more anger than it helps, both in ourselves and in others. Someone who practices catharsis theory could mature and become a spouse or a parent. The constant buildup and release of anger can cause irreversible long-term consequences, like divorce and ruined parent-child relations. The lack of viability for letting off steam can be seen in two separate studies that also show the viability of meditation and self-calming. One was done by Brad Bushman, Roy Baumeister, and Angela Stack. I will refer to this as the Bushman experiment, in 1998-9 in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. The other was done by Michael Stevens, published in his YouTube channel Mindfield in 2017. Bushman's experiment, original, and Michael's own experiment began with participants writing an essay on a sensitive topic and having it graded by a peer. However, in actuality, the experimenter was giving the peer reviews and was giving the worst feedback possible on purpose to anger the participant. Afterwards, half of the participants were allowed 2 minutes to let out their anger. In Bushman's experiment, this was done with a punching bag, and in Michael Stevens, it was done with a rage room with free rein and a crowbar. Now, the other half were told to sit and reflect quietly on the essay and their emotions. After this, they played a game with their fake peer. They were given an opportunity to punish their opponents if they won a level. Now, in Bushman's, this consisted of a blast of noise, and they could change the longevity of that blast, or they could change the intensity. In Michael Stevens, it was replaced with an electric shock. The harshness of the punishment and the length were used to determine how angry or aggressive the participant was feeling at the time the game was played. What they found were actually that those that were allowed to let out their anger were more aggressive than those who weren't given that opportunity. So it seemed catharsis theory really doesn't work like we think it does. Our brain may enjoy the release, but it just doesn't work. And long term, it can cause way too many issues. Rage rooms, anonymous venting sessions, and even the car across from Tate that I saw that inspired this speech, they've been created to utilize the catharsis theory as a means of relieving stress and anger. But our greatest methods do not utilize the emotion at all. In fact, it's much more helpful to calm ourselves, meditate, and look within. I've never been one for yoga, but after all this research, I may actually try it out. It may be more viable. Thank you.